Mina moved to the center of the bridge. Around her neck hung the mind mirror device they had found months ago. She activated it, and a sphere of soft light surrounded her. "I'm going to make contact," she said. "If I'm wrong about this, destroy the void with everything we have." Jiwoo wanted to object, wanted to tell her it was too dangerous, but he knew this was their best hope. Their ancestors had tried fighting the void and failed. Perhaps understanding it was the only way forward. Mina closed her eyes and extended her consciousness outward. The mind mirror amplified her thoughts, projecting them across the void of space toward the dark entity that threatened all life. At first, there was nothing. Then she felt it. A vast, ancient awareness turning its attention toward her. It was older than humanity. Older perhaps than the galaxy itself. And it was curious. Images flooded Mina's mind. Stars being born and dying, galaxies spinning in the darkness, life evolving in countless forms. The void was showing her its journey through the cosmos. "It's not destroying," Mina whispered, though no one on the bridge could hear her now. "It's transforming." The truth unfolded in her mind. The void didn't consume worlds out of malice. It absorbed them to help them evolve into something new. It was a catalyst for change, for growth beyond physical form, but its touch was too much for most beings to comprehend, driving them to madness or worship. Mina showed the void her own memories, humanity's journey from cave dwellers to star travelers, their fall and their rise again. She showed it the species they had created, the worlds they had helped flourish. "We are like you," she projected the thought. "We help life grow and change, but we do it differently. We preserve physical form. You transform it into energy and consciousness." She felt the void considering this idea. It had never encountered beings who understood its purpose before. Previous civilizations had only seen destruction in its actions. On the bridge of the Guardian, the crew watched in tense silence. Mina stood motionless in the sphere of light, occasionally whispering words they couldn't understand. Around the void ship, the shadow vessels had stopped their movement. "Something's happening," Daehyun reported. "Energy readings are changing across the void vessel." Suddenly, the perfect black sphere of the void began to change. Parts of it became transparent, revealing swirling galaxies of light within, the absorbed essence of countless civilizations, preserved and transformed rather than destroyed. In her mental connection, Mina offered the void a proposal. "Work with us. Let us be the bridge between physical life and your realm of pure consciousness. Those who wish to evolve beyond their bodies can join you willingly. Those who wish to remain physical can continue their journey." The void's response came not in words, but in understanding. It had never considered cooperation with physical beings. For eons it had traveled alone, seeing itself as separate from the life it transformed. Now it saw another path. On the view screen, the shadow vessels were dissolving, reforming into shapes that resembled stars, beautiful and bright rather than dark and threatening. When Mina finally opened her eyes, hours had passed. She looked, exhausted but triumphant. "It understood," she said simply. "The void isn't our enemy. It's another form of life, trying to help the universe evolve in its own way." In the days that followed, representatives from all spacefaring species met to establish what would be called the Galactic Council. Humans, once the forgotten elders of the stars, took their place as mediators between the physical realm and the void. Some beings chose to join with the void, evolving beyond physical form. Others remained in their bodies, continuing to build and create across the stars. The ancient human abilities, now reawakened, allowed them to communicate with both realms. On Earth, in the old archive chamber, Mina and Jiwoo stood before a new generation of human explorers. "Our ancestors thought they had to hide from the void," Mina told them. "They didn't realize they were meant to be its partners. Now we take up our ancient role, not conquerors, not rulers, but guardians and guides. We help life flourish in all its forms, physical and beyond." As she spoke, The mind mirror at her throat glowed softly, reflecting the countless stars where humanity had once walked and would walk again. This time, not as fearful children hiding from the dark, but as the wise elders they were always meant to be, the guardians of a galaxy filled with endless possibilities. Then came the most disturbing news. Some colonists had begun worshipping the void, building strange altars and offering sacrifices. They claimed the void had promised to spare those who served it. "We need to master these devices now," Junho said, "before humanity turns against itself." Mina worked day and night trying to understand how the ancient technology functioned. The more she learned, the more she realized how advanced their ancestors had been, and how much modern humans had lost. One device particularly interested her, a small disc that the records called the Mind Mirror. When activated, it showed not physical space but the thoughts of those nearby. "I think this is how our ancestors communicated with the void," she told Junho. "They tried to understand it before they fought it." As the void drew closer, humanity faced not just physical destruction but a battle for their very minds. And somewhere in the ancient technology, Mina hoped, was the key to fighting back. Captain Jiwoo Park stood on the bridge of the Earth ship, Reclaimer, looking at the planet below. It was the third ancient site they had visited in 2 months, each one holding pieces of humanity's forgotten technology. Time was running out. "Captain, we've located the entrance," said Lieutenant Hana, from the scanner station. "It's similar to the others, hidden beneath what appears to be a natural formation." Jiwoo nodded. "Prepare the landing team. Dr. Mina Park needs to be included. Only she can activate most of the ancient systems." Since discovering the void's return, humanity had been working frantically to recover their ancestral knowledge. Mina had become the key to this effort, her natural ability to interact with the ancient technology making her essential to each mission. An hour later, Jiwoo led the team through a narrow canyon. The walls towered above them, casting long shadows in the alien sunlight. At the end of the canyon, they found a smooth wall embedded with the now familiar ancient symbols. Mina stepped forward and placed her hand on the central panel. The wall shimmered and then simply vanished, revealing a vast chamber beyond. "It never gets old," Hana whispered as they entered. Unlike the weapons storage they had found on Haiju, this facility contained what appeared to be medical equipment. In the center stood a large chamber with a padded platform inside. "What is this place?" Jiwoo asked, running his hand along one of the control panels. Mina studied the symbols carefully. "I think it's an awakening chamber. The text refers to unlocking genetic memory and restoring the true potential." Taehyun, who had joined them from the archive research team, looked excited. "This might explain something we found in the archive records. Our ancestors didn't just hide their technology. They locked away parts of their own abilities. They modified their genes to suppress certain traits." "What kinds of traits?" Jiwoo asked. "Mental abilities mostly," Taehyun replied. "The kind that would make them detectable to the void. The records mentioned telepathy, telekinesis, and something called quantum consciousness, the ability to perceive and influence reality at the quantum level." Mina looked at the chamber with new understanding. They built these facilities so their descendants could restore those abilities when it was safe, or when they were needed again. Over the next few days, they studied the facility and reported their findings to Earth Command. The decision that came back surprised them all. Volunteers would be allowed to use the chamber to see if these ancient abilities could be restored. "I should go first," Mina said during the planning meeting. "I already have the strongest connection to the ancient technology." Jiwoo shook his head. "It's too risky. We don't know what it will do to a person." "That's exactly why it should be me," Mina insisted. "I understand the systems better than anyone. If something goes wrong, I have the best chance of stopping it." In the end, they couldn't argue with her logic. As Mina prepared to enter the chamber, Jiwoo pulled her aside. "Be careful," he said, his voice softer than usual. "We need you." Mina smiled. "Don't worry. Our ancestors built this for us to use. They wanted us to reclaim what they lost. The procedure took 6 hours. Mina lay in the chamber as soft light pulsed around her. The others watched anxiously on monitors, seeing strange energy patterns flow through her body. When the chamber finally opened, Mina stepped out looking exactly the same at first. Then Jiwoo noticed her eyes. They seemed deeper somehow, as if she was seeing things beyond normal vision. "How do you feel?" he asked. "Different," she said simply. Then she looked at a metal tool on a nearby table. Without touching it, she lifted it into the air. It floated there, suspended by nothing but her thought. The success of Mina's procedure changed everything. In the weeks that followed, hundreds of volunteers underwent the same process. Not everyone developed the same abilities. Some became telepathic, others telekinetic. Some could see possible futures, while others could heal with a touch. Humanity was reclaiming its ancient power. But with that power came greater danger. The void seemed to sense the change, accelerating its approach. More colony worlds reported strange occurrences, shadow creatures appearing, people having nightmares of darkness consuming them. On the Reclaimer, Jiwoo gathered his crew for a new mission. Reports had come in of an ancient battle station hidden in an asteroid field. If they could find it and activate it, humanity might have a real weapon against the void. Mina joined him on the bridge, her newfound abilities making her even more valuable to the mission. "Do you think we can really fight it?" Jiwoo asked her privately. "The void defeated our ancestors when they were far more advanced than we are now." Mina looked out at the stars. With her enhanced perception, she could almost see the threads connecting all living things across the galaxy. "Our ancestors didn't understand what they were facing," she said. "They saw the void as only a destroyer. I think it's something more complex. And this time, we won't just fight it. We'll try to understand it." As the Reclaimer jumped to faster than light speed, Mina felt a strange connection forming in her mind, a vast consciousness reaching out from the darkness between stars. The void was aware of them now, watching them reclaim their power. And somehow Mina sensed it had been waiting for this moment for 50,000 years. The massive void ship hung in space like a tear in reality itself. It was larger than Earth's moon, a perfect black sphere that seemed to absorb both light and hope. Around it, smaller shadow vessels moved in strange patterns. The fleet of human and allied alien ships looked tiny in comparison. On the bridge of the flagship Guardian, Mina stood beside Captain Jiwoo. Both had changed in the month since their first discovery. Jiwoo now wore the silver insignia of Fleet Commander, while Mina's eyes glowed slightly with the power she had awakened within herself. "All ships report ready," said Communications Officer Daehyun. "The Nexari fleet has taken position on our left flank. The Lyrians and Turani are on our right." Jiwoo nodded. "This is it then. Humanity's last stand, alongside the very species our ancestors created." Through the viewports they could see hundreds of ships, the combined forces of every spacefaring race in this part of the galaxy. Many had once worshipped humans as their creators. Now they fought alongside them as equals. "It's not a last stand," Mina said quietly. "It's first contact." Over the past weeks, as her abilities had grown stronger, Mina had sensed something unexpected about the void. It wasn't just a mindless destroyer, it was conscious, and it was trying to communicate. "The ancient battle station is ready," reported Taehyun from the weapons console. They had found the station exactly where the archive records indicated, hidden inside a hollow moon. Its power systems had taken weeks to restore. "Don't fire unless I give the command," Jiwoo ordered. "We try Mina's way first." "But why don't we remember any of this?" Mina asked. "Why did we go back to Earth and forget everything?" The answer came from the archive itself. The holograms shifted to show a dark cloud moving through space, consuming stars as it went. "The Tao." "Void," Elox whispered, his voice filled with fear. "Your people called it the Devourer of Worlds." The images showed human ships fighting against the darkness, losing battle after battle. Then they showed a new plan. Humans returning to Earth, destroying their advanced technology and somehow erasing their own memories. They hid, General Sunwoo said. But why make themselves forget? Mina studied the final images carefully. I think they were hiding from this void creature. Maybe it could track advanced technology or knowledge, so they went back to basics and erased all evidence of what they had been. Days turned into weeks as Mina and her team studied the archive. They learned that humans had once mastered technology that seemed like magic now. Energy that required no fuel, ships that could cross the galaxy in days, medicine that could cure any disease or injury. Most surprising was what they learned about the human mind. Ancient humans had abilities modern humans had forgotten, moving objects with thought, communicating across vast distances, and even seeing possible futures. Our ancestors were like gods, Taehyun said one evening as they reviewed their findings. Not gods, Mina corrected. Just humans who had developed much further than we have now. And somehow we lost all of it. One morning, Junho Kim arrived from Earth Command. His face was grave as he gathered the research team. We've received reports from the outer colonies, he said. Strange energy readings at the edge of our space. Ships disappearing without warning. The Nexari say it matches the historical description of the void. Mina felt cold fear in her stomach. It's coming back, just as we're rediscovering who we were. That's why we need to work faster, Junho said. If our ancestors faced this threat and had to hide, what chance do we have? Unless we can recover their knowledge and technology, Mina finished his thought. The archive mentions other sites, places where our ancestors left their most advanced tools and weapons. Junho nodded. Earth Command is assembling a team. You'll lead the archaeological side, Dr. Park. We need to find these sites and understand what's inside them before it's too late. As Mina packed her few belongings that night, she held a small device they had found in the archive. When activated, it showed Earth as it once was, a central hub of a vast human empire. She wondered if humans would ever be that advanced again, and if they would have time to reach that point before the void arrived. Time was running out, the void was coming, and humanity's forgotten legacy was their only hope for survival. The emergency alarm woke Mina at 3 a.m. Red lights flashed through the temporary quarters they had set up near the archive. She jumped from her bed and grabbed her tablet, checking the alert message. It was from Director Doyen Lee at Earth Command. Urgent meeting. The void has been detected. Mina rushed to the command center, still wearing her sleep clothes with a jacket thrown over them. Inside, a group had already gathered around the large display screen. Director Lee's face filled the screen, his expression grim. At Oro 200 hours, our deep space monitoring station in the Tau Ceti system went dark, he said. The last transmission showed energy readings matching those described in the archive records. We have confirmation. The void has returned. Mina felt her stomach tighten. The ancient enemy that had driven humanity back to Earth 50,000 years ago was active again, and modern humans were far less advanced than their ancestors had been. How fast is it moving? Junho asked. He stood next to Mina, his military uniform hastily put on. Based on the data we have, it's consuming about 1 star system per Earth month, Director Lee replied. At that rate, it will reach our outer colonies within 8 months, and Earth itself within 2 years. The room fell silent as everyone processed this information. Their ancestors, with all their advanced technology, couldn't defeat the void. What chance did they have? What about the other archive sites? Mina asked. The records mentioned multiple locations where our ancestors stored their most advanced technology. Director Lee nodded. That's why I'm calling. We've identified 3 potential sites based on the archive data. We're sending teams to each location. Dr. Park, you and Commander Kim will lead the team to the site on planet Heiju. After the meeting, Mina returned to her quarters to pack. Her hands trembled as she folded her clothes. The fate of humanity might depend on what they found at these sites. Taehyun knocked on her door. I just heard I'm going with you to Heiju, he said. Are you okay? You look pale. I'm scared, Mina admitted. The records show our ancestors couldn't defeat the void even with all their advanced technology. They had to hide and forget. What can we possibly do against it? Taehyun sat next to her. Maybe they didn't have the right solution. Maybe they missed something that we'll find. 3 days later, they arrived at planet Haiju. Unlike the barren world of the archive, Haiju was lush with strange blue plants. The site they sought was hidden deep in a mountain range. As they approached the mountains in their transport vehicle, Chunyo pointed to a strange formation ahead. Look at that mountain peak. It's too regular to be natural. He was right. The peak was a perfect pyramid shape. As they got closer, they could see it wasn't stone at all, but a massive structure made of the same material as the archive. It's been hiding in plain sight for thousands of years, Mina said. Anyone seeing it would think it was just an unusual mountain. They found the entrance at the base. Like the archive, it only responded to human touch. Inside, they discovered not a library of knowledge, but a vast storage facility filled with strange devices. These must be weapons, Junho said, examining a row of sleek metal objects. Mina studied the control panel near the entrance. According to this, they're not just weapons. They're tools designed to interact with something called the quantum substrate. As she worked to understand the ancient text, a message came through from one of the other teams. They had found their site, but something was wrong. Their transmission cut off suddenly. Hours later, Director Lee contacted them with the news. The team at Site 2 was attacked, not by the void itself, but by something else. Creatures made of darkness. Only one team member survived. The survivor's report was terrifying. The creatures had appeared suddenly, moving like shadows but solid enough to kill. They seemed to be searching for something. They're scouts, Junho said. The void knows we found the archives. It's hunting us. That night, as Mina studied the ancient devices, she made a breakthrough. These aren't conventional weapons, she told the team. They're designed to affect consciousness itself. The records say the void isn't just a physical threat. It exists, partially in thought space. What does that mean? Taehyun asked. It means the void isn't just consuming stars and planets. It feeds on consciousness, on intelligent thought. That's why our ancestors regressed technologically and wiped their own memories. They were trying to hide their minds from it. As they worked to understand the ancient devices, reports came in from across human space. Strange dreams were affecting people on the outer colonies. People reported seeing a vast darkness in their sleep calling to them. It's starting, Mina said. The void is reaching for us through our minds. Here's the first part of your story in approximately 900 words, written in third-person style with simple English. Earth wasn't a newcomer. We were the galaxy's ancient elders. The stars twinkled in the night sky above New Sol Colony. Dr. Mina Park stood at the edge of the dig site, her eyes fixed on the strange markings carved into the stone wall. For 3 months, her team had been digging on this distant planet, looking for signs of alien life. What they found instead confused everyone. This doesn't make sense, Mina whispered to herself. The symbols matched ancient Earth writings, specifically those found in the oldest Korean and Sumerian ruins. But how could that be possible? Humans had only reached this planet 50 years ago. Mina brushed dust from the carvings with her soft brush. The more dirt she removed, the clearer the pattern became. It wasn't just similar to Earth writing, it was identical. Dr. Park, you need to see this, called Taehyun, her assistant. He stood 20 meters away, waving excitedly. Mina walked over. To him, careful not to disturb the other parts of the dig, Taehyun pointed at a newly uncovered section of wall. Look at the date marking, he said. If I'm reading this correctly, these carvings are 45,000 years old. Mina's heart raced. That's impossible. Humans weren't even space travelers until 200 years ago. Later that evening, in the small research lab, Mina compared her findings with Earth's historical records. The evidence was growing stronger. These weren't alien markings at all. They were human. But how could humans have visited this planet thousands of years before modern space travel? The university board won't believe this, Taehyun said, pouring 2 cups of coffee. They'll think we made a mistake. Then we need better proof, Mina replied. She pointed to a section of the wall they had brought back to the lab. These symbols here talk about the great journey and stars of the ancestors. I think they're telling a story about human space travel, from long before recorded history. For weeks, Mina sent report after report back to Earth. Each time, the response was the same. Findings inconclusive, continue research. Then one day, everything changed. Mina was working late when Taehyun burst into the lab. You need to see the news. Earth has made first contact with an alien species. They watched the broadcast together. On a space station near Jupiter, human diplomats were meeting representatives of an advanced alien civilization called the Nexari. The aliens looked almost human-like, but with blue-tinted skin and larger eyes. What happened next shocked the galaxy. When the Nexari saw the humans, they fell to their knees. The translator captured their words clearly. The ancients have returned. The great cedars walk among us again. The human diplomats looked confused. The alien leader, called Elox, explained, Your kind are known throughout the stars. You were the first, the ones who traveled the galaxy when our ancestors were still learning to make fire. Within days, Mina's research became the most important archaeological project in human history. The government sent more scientists and equipment. Then they sent something even more valuable, information from the Nexari. According to Nexari historical records, humans had once ruled a vast empire, spanning thousands of worlds. They had technology far beyond what current humans could imagine. Then, roughly 50,000 years ago, something happened. The humans vanished from the stars, seemingly returning only to Earth. One morning, a government ship arrived at the colony. A tall man in a black uniform stepped out. Dr. Park, I'm General Sunwoo. I need you to come with me. Where are we going? Mina asked. The Nexari have offered to take us to a place they call the Archive. They say it contains the history of ancient humans. You're the expert on this discovery, so you're leading the research team. 3 days later, Mina found herself aboard, a Nexari ship traveling faster than any human vessel could go. Through the window, she watched stars blur past. Next to her sat General Sunwoo and 5 other human scientists. Their Nexari guide, Elox, approached them. We are honored to serve the ancients. For generations, we have protected your knowledge, waiting for your return. Why do you call us ancients? Mina asked. Because your kind walked the stars when ours was young, Elox replied. You gave life to 100 worlds. The Nexari themselves were shaped by your hands long ago. The ship slowed as they approached a small, rocky planet with no visible signs of life. The archive lies below the surface, Elox explained, hidden from those who might misuse its knowledge. As their shuttle descended to the planet's surface, Mina felt a strange sensation, like she was coming home, though she had never been here before. The shuttle landed on a flat plain surrounded by mountains. Elox led them to what looked like an ordinary rock face. He placed his hand on a specific spot, and suddenly the rock shifted, revealing a doorway. Only those with the blood of the ancients can open this door, Elox said. We have tried for generations but failed. It has waited for your return. Mina stepped forward, her heart pounding. When she placed her hand on the door, ancient symbols lit up around it. The massive door slid open, revealing a vast chamber filled with technology unlike anything humans had seen before. In that moment, Mina understood. Earth wasn't a newcomer to the galactic community. Humans weren't the new species they thought. They were. They were the elders, the ancients. And now, they had finally come home. The bright lights of the archive chamber hurt Mina's eyes. After years of digging in the dirt, she wasn't used to such technology. The walls were made of a smooth material that seemed to glow from within. Strange machines lined the walls, untouched for thousands of years but somehow still working. This is incredible, Mina whispered. Her voice echoed in the vast room. Elox, their Nexari guide, moved with reverence through the chamber. For generations, my people have guarded this place. We knew it was important, but we could not access its secrets. Only those with the blood of the ancients can bring these systems to life. General Sunwoo touched one of the walls, and symbols lit up under his fingers. These are the same markings we found at the dig site, he said. Mina nodded. But there are thousands more here. She moved to what appeared to be a control panel. When her fingers touched it, the entire room changed. Holographic images filled the air around them, showing star maps and planets. It's responding to you, Taehyun said, his eyes wide with wonder. Mina felt strange, like the machines were familiar somehow. Her fingers moved across the panel without conscious thought, and the images changed, showing Earth as it looked in ancient times. Look at the date marker, she said, pointing to symbols in the corner of the image. This is from 50,000 years ago, Earth during the last ice age. The hologram shifted again, showing humans in advanced ships traveling between stars. According to our history, humans were still using stone tools then, General Sunwoo said. This can't be right. Elok stepped forward. The Nixari records tell a different story. Your kind traveled the stars long before you think. You built great cities on 100 worlds. You shaped life itself. As if responding to his words, the hologram changed again. It showed humans in advanced laboratories working with genetic material. The image zoomed in on DNA strands being modified. Are those different species? Taehyun asked. Mina studied the images carefully. I think they're showing humans creating new life forms, genetically engineering them. The hologram shifted to show primitive versions of the Nexari, then a series of genetic modifications, and finally the Nexari as they look today. Elox bowed his head. Now you see the truth. Your kind made mine, not just mine, dozens of species across the galaxy. You seeded life where there was none. You guided evolution. You were the gardeners of the galaxy. The scientists looked at each other in shock. Humans weren't just space travelers, they were creators.